Authorities in the UAE are preparing federal licenses for crypto expansion. India's tax bill has caused an instant ripple effect, and the Ukraine has officially legalized Bitcoin. But that's not all. Two Ripple memos from 2012 could change the entirety of this case. At the same time, President Joe Biden said that an executive order for crypto is coming as soon as next week. Welcome back to another episode of your Digital Hustle News. As always, I'm Wade Teamer. So we had quite the substantial pullback yesterday. Bitcoin slid about 8% on the day after news that Russia could invade any day now, plus word of this executive order that hit the markets and people freaked out a bit about it. But guys, what are the charts saying? Well, the daily, we did drop slightly below that 20 moving average. On the weekly, we have dipped below our weekly open at 41K, but here's the silver lining. It's the weekend, so we tend to have more liquidity in the market. On top of this, if we take a look at the intraday time frames, the 3 hour, my best friend, is bottomed out here. The 4 hour also in the same position. So we're looking to recover a lot of what we lost yesterday. Now, I want to take you over to the dollar really quick. You can see the weekly chart for the dollar. It's indicating an uptrend, but on the RSI up here, we are seeing a downtrend. So the strength is getting weaker, but the price seems to be fluctuating in an upwards direction. However, you can still see, guys, and we'll jump over to the daily, that resistance level is sitting at about 96.1 right here in this range. And like I told you before, 97, 98, the dollar hasn't been there since like 2012 or something like that. So today we really just got to play it cautiously, guys, of course, always. One thing to take note of here on the monthly, we are still in great position. So we're playing a long game, guys. You know that. We're going to start with our main story because this move has major implications for three particular assets on our radar. The UAE is preparing federal licenses for the expansion of the crypto industry. In a recent report from Bloomberg, the UAE plans to create a crypto-friendly space in the Emirates. The nation of Dubai already has given licenses to 22 virtual asset providers. Now they are looking to build a crypto hub in the Dubai World Trade Center. In a note from Dubai government media, they stated the Dubai World Trade Center will collaborate with the private sector and relevant entities in Dubai to create an attractive environment for the sector and enforce rigorous standards for investor protection, anti-money laundering, and combating the financing of terrorism, compliance, and cross-border deal flow tracing. Now, here's what's interesting. Currently, their version of the SEC, the Securities and Commodities Authority, is currently in the process of finalizing legislation that will allow for virtual asset service providers to operate across the entire United Arab Emirates. But guess who has already signed a deal with the Dubai World Trade Center? Binance. Who else has presence in the UAE? Digibyte. Remember, ZPay and Zella POS, which allows citizens in the UAE to pay for goods and services with Digibyte. Now, that same Zella Pay got into the debit card business with the same company that back in 2020 announced that they were working on a debit card for a coin, one that is set to release later this year. And who just signed on as a brand new secondary market for that debit card? The United Arab Emirates. Now, I also want to point out a bit of what this market is going to look like. According to a UAE wealth report from 2018, the average person's net worth is equal to $99,000, making it the largest wealth market in the world. And now they are really getting crypto friendly. Next, we will jump across the Arabian and go over to India. Their recent crypto tax legislation has actually done more good than harm, as India's top crypto exchanges have seen a surge of activity. According to co-founder of Wazir X, Nishal Shetty, signups are up nearly 30% since the legislation went into effect February 1st. He continued to state that on average, new customers are starting with at least $400 to $500 in their accounts. Another thing to take note of here, WazirX is owned by Binance. Now, it's not just WazirX doing well, their competition has also seen a new influx of users. Now, all of this is a very stark turnaround to how India used to feel about crypto. Back in 2018, they actually banned the use of crypto within the country. But in the last couple of years, India and their central bank has been leading the discussion in most cases when it comes to digital currency adoption. The Indian government's turnaround has changed the thinking of new investors, so much so that Shetty believes that another 100 million people will get into this space over the next 2 to 3 years. Next up is the Ukraine. The virtual assets bill has been passed in parliament. Yesterday, the bill passed that grants legal status to all cryptocurrencies and virtual assets. There was an amendment added that allows Ukrainian citizens to hold and use crypto and defines the rights and duties of investors. The bill also establishes a regulatory framework referring to Bitcoin and Ethereum as virtual assets, meaning any asset that cannot already be legally used as a payment instrument or traded for other assets, products, or services. Another thing to take note of here, it's the National Securities Commission that will serve as the regulator for these virtual assets. In Dubai, we saw that it was their securities body that is also regulating crypto. That's something I want you to pay attention to. Back in the United States, the Ripple case continues to evolve while our president is preparing an executive order to regulate the US crypto markets. First, let's talk Ripple. There are two legal memos from 2012 that may very well change the direction of this case. Back in 2012, Chris Larson, Ripple co-founder, sought legal counsel about XRP within the first year of its operation and received two memos from undisclosed law firms. Now, here's what's interesting. The SEC has fought tooth and nail to keep these memos out of the equation because it could reveal that Larson and as a result Ripple would have been fully aware of the proper course of action when it came to their very young currency well before the world even knew about it. If this is to be true, then it would essentially prove the SEC's argument relevant. Again, this back and forth tit for tat is all just to delay the inevitable. We already saw in this episode, the securities regulators of the world are the ones moving on crypto. But in the case for Ripple, I think it's a matter of timing. The 2-year anniversary of this case is December 18th, I believe. So here's a scenario for you. XRP 2 years later in 22 is ranked 2 in market cap by the 22nd of December, 2 days after the resolution of this case. Crazier things have happened. Lastly, the United States is expected to put forth an executive order on crypto and CBDCs as soon as next week. Already, media outlets are calling this a matter of national security. The order is supposed to kickstart a regulatory framework for digital assets here in the United States. It will also dive deeper into the CBDC discussion, as the Federal Reserve is already actively working on digital solutions. The Biden administration has expressed their views on crypto as being a sector that could dramatically impact the future of monetary payments. This order will also direct several government agencies to get involved with crypto. We already saw that the FBI has gotten on board by forming a new digital currency unit. Now, news of this is really what shook the markets, folks. But this particular episode showed us that regulation is not necessarily a bad thing. As we saw in India, they now have even more users than ever before. Remember, with regulation brings validation. Validation increases valuations, and higher valuations is what we want, guys, because we know if the money is digital, and so is the hustle. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this information with friends and family. If you're new to crypto, I have links to the most notable exchanges in the description. Using the links below supports the channel and comes with special bonuses for members of our network. For more information on the new economy, check out the playlist related to this episode on the right and our most recent episode on the left. As always, have a great day, have a prosperous day. Most importantly, we making this money. I'll see y'all in the next one.